What's up, everybody? I'm back for video 78 of 365. My name is Samantha, and I am a therapist, and I'm doing a video every day for a year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety and all that fun stuff. So I am in a thunderstorm. I've been waiting on the storm to come all day so I could film out here, and I think this is where I'm going to film all the time. Upstairs in the office, it's just, I'm bored. So I think just being out in nature is just gonna do us all a lot better. So in the winter, I may have a coat on. I don't know. Might sit by the fireplace with a fire going. We'll see. So I hope you guys can kind of hear the thunder in the background just to make it a little different. So the video looks a lot lighter than it is outside. It's actually very dark outside right now. So, so anyway, I wanted to talk about how to shift your mental state, like I always talk about. I notice a lot in even myself at times, looking outside of yourself for your happiness. And I just think this is probably the most valuable skill to learn, is looking only inside yourself for your happiness. Like forever. You never stop doing that. And when you create happiness inside yourself, then that generates all these awesome frequencies that start bringing you everything that you wanted, that you thought would make you happy. You're already happy without it. And then it's just icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top of the sundae. It's the sprinkles on top of the ice cream. It's all the extra stuff that you don't need, but it kind of makes things a little bit better and more fun. So yeah, I thought we'd talk about that again and how to practice that. And so I noticed a lot of people on YouTube talk about detachment, and I know Buddha always, I saw those quotes for years about, don't be attached to anything. And it's really, I think, hard as humans to put that in our minds as something that we can actually do. And but that's the human mind, of course. It's our spirit mind that needs to take over and remember who we truly are. And I'm hearing, I don't know what that was. I'm hearing some noises. But so, I think it's just rain. But yeah, this is the first time filming in a storm. This is freaking awesome. I wish it would storm every day like this. This is awesome. I wish I had cool lighting out here a little bit better than what I have. And you can't really tell what it is, but yeah, someday. So, but how do you detach? I've been asked that, and you detach by practicing. First of all, everyone needs to remember that manifestation and learning about all these things is just a practice. It's a new skill that we weren't necessarily taught. We were taught to kind of be programmed by the external world, literally. And so when you realize that you don't have to listen to that programming anymore, it just makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I have power. This is awesome. And it takes a little while for your brain to fully process that, and to actually start believing that, yes, you do have power, and you can choose at any moment where your thoughts go, and your thoughts are going to show where your belief system is. And so I really suggest looking at what belief systems you have and what you believe about yourself, because if you don't believe that you're capable of making $1 million, you're right, you won't. Anything you say is right. And I heard someone say that on YouTube. I can't remember who it was, but they said, whatever you think is right. So, and I started thinking, well, if that's the case, then I better start thinking things that I actually want to think, and no matter if they're delusional or not. Oh, there's the ducks. I hope you can hear the ducks. They're saying hi. We'll see if they start talking again. We have 7 ducks that are just hanging out over by the pond over here in the other houses. They come and say hi. Oh, I heard them again. They might say hi. Oh, there they are again. If I just be quiet for a second, you can hear some nature. I love it out here. Anyway, back to the teachings. There they are. They're very loud, and they're so funny. So remember that every situation that's happening around you is so funny. You're making a meaning of everything. So you're either making a good or, hi guys. Hi guys. We used to feed them, and we haven't fed them in a while, so they're just coming to say hi. They are so funny. So remember that every moment of the day, you're making a meaning of every single situation that's happening in your life. Every single situation. So what meaning how rude are these ducks? This is cracking me up. I think you can probably hear them. I'm gonna have to edit this video. I'm just gonna let them talk. Okay, so back to it. Back to class. Class is in session again. So the ducks they're just interrupting. They're being bad students. So anyway, yes, every situation that you have that comes into your life is there for a reason, and it's there for your benefit. So really take that in and think, okay, if this is showing in front of me for some reason, why would this be here? What is this trying to show me? What am I needing to learn about myself? That's what I ask myself too. This is a game I play. This showed up, so what do I need to learn about myself in relation to this? And that is so fun to do if you're not scared of looking internally at yourself. There are some people that are terrified of going inside their own minds, but that's where your gold mine is. Your gold is in your mind. And you have to change the way you think if you want to see your life change. And so I came up with this quote. I think I said, like, when you live in joy, then you can enjoy your life. So you practice living in joy. And the more you do that, the more you enjoy everything. The more comes to you that matches that same frequency that you're creating from internal and inside you. So, where are you giving your power away to your reality that isn't even real? It's the chewed up bubble gum. It has no flavor anymore. Why are we looking at it? It's just kind of there. It was projected out from, maybe I heard Esther Hicks always say, like, it's kind of like from 3 days ago, like what you thought about 3 days ago is kind of projecting out today, and that's kind of what you're seeing. I think that's so cool to think about. And at first when I heard this information so long ago, I didn't understand it, and I didn't fully believe it, and I didn't fully take it in until I learned about quantum physics. And that really just got me feeling more comforted. If you believe that this is a simulation and this isn't real, then I'll say to myself, I'm like, this isn't real. Why am I upset about this? And let's say that's not true. Well, does it feel better to think it's a simulation and not real? To me, it does. So I'm going to think that way, because why not? You're creating your own internal state from your thoughts and your beliefs. So it's like, why not switch it to something that's outlandish, and you don't have to tell anybody. That's the good news about this. The great news, you don't have to tell anybody what you're doing unless you want to teach them. And you don't have to tell anybody. Everybody's just a projection of what you believe and think and assume on, like, dominantly, like all the time, what you're thinking and believing. So I don't really even worry about other people so much anymore. I'm more worried about, what am I assuming? And just keeping it very simple. What am I assuming? And I will tell you what, practicing this will change people around you very quickly. I've seen it recently. I have done many things inside this mind of mine, and I've seen it today I was thinking about 2 people, and I called one of them, and she was like, and this is a person I haven't talked to in months, and I called her, and she's like, I was just thinking of you. And there was no reason for her to be thinking about me at all. I mean, there really wasn't. And then a friend of mine called me, who this morning I was thinking, I wonder if we can do lunch on Friday. And then she called me hours later. And so, but then, like, with your SP, remember that they are just a projection of you and your own beliefs. And if you want to see something different with somebody, whether it's a relationship or a parent even, or a child, or anybody that, everybody is a specific person, everybody. So it doesn't have to be just a relationship or just an intimate relationship. It can be anyone. And you will see your thoughts projected onto them. Really, here's the thing that I had to learn about myself, even in the last few days, that whatever energy is inside of you, people can feel it. So it's not even your words, it's your energy. And they will see it in your face. They will feel it coming off of you. And so you really have to check that, because you're emitting a frequency. So if you're this happy person and you're going around and you're this nice, happy person, and then your specific person comes home and you've had some turmoil in the last week or whatever with them, or you've been having marital issues for 8.5 years and they come home every night, you're like in that frequency of frustration or disappointment. That's another thing. And so that person feels that you're disappointed in them. They feel that you're frustrated with them. They can feel it, even if you don't say anything. And then they're going to say things to you that might indicate what they're feeling, but it won't match up necessarily, but they'll say things like, I don't know why I feel this way, I just do. You make me feel this way, I feel this coming off of you. They'll just say things and you're like, but that's not who I am. That's not me. But it may not be you, but it's the thoughts that you're thinking about your situation with them or about them. Like, oh, well, he's coming home late again as usual, or I bet he's going to be mad at me when he gets home and he's just going to yell at me, or I bet she's going to yell at me as soon as I get in the door. And it's just, those are assumptions. That is what an assumption is. You assume that is going to happen. And then what happens? It happens. When you've done that so many times, you're creating a frequency where they have to show up like that. That's how powerful you are. People will show up how you expect them to. And you're showing up how you expect you to show up too. That's the biggest thing. I used to have the lowest, I don't want to say the lowest, but like I had a lower self-concept and self-worth and self-esteem and all the self stuff. It was very up and down. It was because I got praise and then criticism, and I would be confused. And then I would criticize myself. It's like when I would praise myself, then I would get criticized by somebody. And then when I get criticized by somebody, then I'd have to praise myself to kind of get myself out of it. So it was this never-ending loop. And I think that's what a lot of people go through in a lot of like relationships in their lives, their relationship with themselves. It's just this loop that we're stuck in. And until you disrupt it, then it doesn't change. And so definitely tonight and tomorrow and the rest of the week, challenge yourself to catch yourself with, what am I dominantly assuming about this person that's coming home? What am I dominantly assuming about my child that I always say, like, they never do their homework, or I guess school's just now starting for people, but what am I dominantly assuming about these people? And then what could I assume differently? And then look at yourself in the mirror. What am I assuming about myself that doesn't serve me, that is hurting me? And remember that nothing outside of you has control over you unless you say, here you go, here's my power, go ahead and take it and run with it, because that's what people do. The ducks agree. So just, where are you outsourcing your power? Really think about that. Your power is right here inside of you. Cover my mic. It's right here inside of you. And you've got to use it. You are everything. I want you to just have fun with this, because I've been doing this lately too, where I'll just look around me and I'll be like, wow, I created all of this. This is amazing. I wonder why I did that. And I'll just kind of have fun. And then if something favorable happens, I'll question it. And then if something unfavorable happens, I'll question it. And it's just kind of fun to know yourself, know thyself, as it says in the Bible. Know thyself. It is so true that if you know yourself, then you have the keys to the kingdom right there. And be very, very deliberate and intentional about where you place your thoughts and where you place your assumptions. And be deliberate. I mean, very deliberate, with intention. Tell yourself, I am intending to assume differently about this person today. I am intending to assume differently about myself today. And when you do that, you're telling your brain what to think. You're reprogramming your brain and saying, no, we are not this person anymore. We are this person now. And then after some repetition, it will catch on and the new neural pathways will start coming together, firing and wiring together. That's what we're wanting to do. And when you aren't thinking those old thoughts in the brain anymore, the brain isn't like thinking the same thing, it prunes itself to where like you don't even really go back to those thoughts anymore because they're all pruned away. And then now you're creating new neural networks. Everything that we think and feel has a neural network and it's all attached. And so you want to create a new neural network to go towards, and that's your new identity. If you want to look at it like that, like this is my new identity. This is what I'm creating. I'm creating a new neural network in my brain, and we're going to start thinking this way now. And you literally have to talk to yourself. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing it. Just do it internally and watch what happens externally. It is amazing what will happen. And once you get so good at it, once you start seeing some results from it, you're going to become addicted, literally. And I will say the best manifestation proof is that you feel great inside. Like nothing really moves you anymore. You're just kind of like, okay, oh, that happened. That used to spiral me. Okay, I don't even think about it anymore. That's okay. And just also like when it comes to partners and friends and family and whatever, I think we try to control them. We try to tell them we judge them. First of all, we judge them. And we try to say, oh, well, I think this is better for you. That, you should live your life like this. You should change this. And recently I've adopted this way of being like, I'm going to let everybody be themselves. I'm not going to try to fix anybody. I'm not going to try to chase anybody. I'm not going to try to convince anybody. When you do that, you let go of control. I really feel like when we're trying to, quote, help somebody, in a way, we're trying to convince and control and manipulate in a way sometimes. But if you just trust that your inner knowing is enough and your love for this person is enough, things will magically happen naturally without any conflict. So it's just a practice, and it's a shift in belief because we're so addicted to believing everything negative that we couldn't possibly think that it could be this easy. But I promise you it is. I've done it millions of times. And it is so fun to see what you can create with your mind. I just think there's nothing better. And when I was working with clients back in the day, I remember thinking, I want to help more people and I want them to only be able to, I want everybody to have access to therapy. And I was just like, how can I do that? How can I help people like that? And the answer is everybody's got a mind, we hope. Everybody's got a mind. And if we can just teach people how to redesign their mind, then they can redesign their life and they don't even know it. So please spread this message out. We all need to hear this and start repeating it, because when somebody hears this one time, they might overlook it because they're not ready yet. But if you hear it multiple times, it will start to stick. And you'll start to believe it more, and it'll start to become more real. And it's so fun. I can't even tell you. If you're not practicing it, I highly recommend it for you. So if this message was great for you today, please send it to somebody else who might need it and who might need hope for their future, whatever they're struggling with. Just know that, teach them it's inside themselves. That's all they need to do is go within. And I'll talk about how to properly do that, like how to feel safe enough to do that. I'll just be talking about all kinds of stuff throughout these next, 300 videos I got to do. So, and beyond. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and for all your awesome comments. I appreciate all of you so much. And yeah, video 78. So I'll be back for 79 tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rain. I hope you can hear it maybe, and hope it's not interrupting the video too much. But yeah, thought we'd just do a rainstorm video. So hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.